Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Showgirl Tip of the Day podcast. My voice is a little deep today because I am recovering from a cold. I had no voice this weekend, so I consider this an improvement. Sorry if it's a little foggy, a little raspy. I'm trying to channel my inner Demi Moore. Good morning. It's early in the morning, and today's episode is about structure, about giving up or pushing through, and the choices we make every single day. So as you know, being a performing artist is a struggle because you are constantly training, you are constantly going into auditions, and the decision of whether or not you get a job is up to other people, which is why I've tried so hard throughout my life to cultivate a life of creativity, to create things that belong to me, such as this podcast, so that I can create a life of beauty and truth and art and not depend on whether or not I get a contract for a performing gig. When the gigs come, I'm always grateful for them. I'm happily performing this December. I have several holiday gigs scheduled, and I'm so grateful because I get to do what I love and get paid, which is what I trained for my whole life. There has been this other endeavor that I have pursued, as you all know, because I talk about it all the time. Up in Winthrop, Maine, about 6 hours from Garrison, New York, is the Vault. And the Vault is a once-a-month vintage market where people sell home decor, they sell clothes, they sell antiques, and it has been such a source of joy in my life, but also a challenge because my inventory is all stuff that I've picked up along the way the last 30 years of being a performing artist. I've sold a lot of that inventory. So now as I have to shop, I look at the customer in Winthrop and I think, what does this customer need and want? That's a challenge. What does your customer need and want? And I also plan to start selling online because I have a lot of New York City customers, showgirls, showboys, people that are in the performing arts, and I think that's a different customer base than my Winthrop, Maine customers, and it's all good. Now, I have a space that I've been, quote, getting by with cheap racks in Winthrop. And this week, I'm making the choice to invest in better equipment so I have a better booth and can do better every month financially. I don't go to Winthrop for the money. Yes, making money is part of the game, right? Everybody wants to earn money from their booth, but I go for the community. I go because there's a group of people who are the sellers, the vendors. I go because the owner has created this piece of magic from nothing, from an idea, and it's real now. And this weekend, we just had our first holiday market, and the roof was blown off the building. It was incredible. I have to say, watching someone like Nikki do her work, and she broke her leg this summer. She was hiking with her child and fell and broke her leg, and all fall she's been recovering. And broken bones heal, but it hurts. So she's been in incredible pain, and she's just kept herself going. And it's been inspiring to me because I want to also keep going. There was a point where I thought I was going to quit, and then I said to myself, you don't quit, you always keep going. My mom reminded me of that too. My mom was like, you love this, just make it work, keep it going. And so when you want to keep something going, you have to invest in yourself. You have to invest with your thought patterns. You have to think, I can do this. I'm going to make this happen. You have to invest with your equipment. So this week, I'm going to figure out how to make the racks better, the shelves better. It's going to happen, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to find a way and make it beautiful and good, just like with performing arts. You keep training. Now, by the time this comes out, Let's Broadway will have already happened. Ashley Ryan and Tati Birnbaum produce this wonderful series every month in New York City, and it's a cabaret. On November 20th, I will have performed in God, I'm a Dancer, and all of the young performing artists are doing songs that are about dancing. And I think that's a fabulous concept and a fantastic idea. And I cannot wait to do it. if you haven't listened to my season 3 premiere with my agent, Paige Chambers-Rutchie, please listen to it because I've got to shout out Paige. She has been such a cheerleader of mine, and I haven't booked recently, and she has been so in my corner, and it means so much to me because I know that show business is a business, and I am hoping. My goal is to book a series in 2023. I want to be on a series. I want to have a role. I want to have a part. And Paige is always cheering me on and so supportive. So it is important to have people around you, your team, your representation, your teachers, your coaches, your peers that really support you. And if there are people in your life telling you to quit or putting you down in any way, don't listen to them. And let's say you have a friend that's a little negativo, maybe spend less time with that friend. Yeah, there were a few people in my life I just had to step away from because the energy was pulling me down, and I need to rise. I need to achieve my goals. My goal is to leave behind a body of work that I can be proud of. And that is what I'm trying to do, especially with this podcast. Speaking of podcasts, when I clean, when I work on projects, I love to listen to podcasts. When I drive a lot, so I love listening to podcasts. Let me give you my favorites. Okay, so The Crown. There's a wonderful podcast that discusses the Netflix series, The Crown. And boy, Edith Bauman is the host. She's fantastic. I love the Goal Digger podcast with Jenna Kutcher. Goal, Goal, not Gold Digger. That's another kind of a podcast. I love A Beautiful Mess podcast. Two sisters, Emma and Elsie, have had a blog for 15 years. They make their living working from home, doing the blog, the podcast. They have all these brand deals and sponsorships. Goals. I love This Changes Everything. There's a guy named Therapy Jeff, and he's been doing a lot of TikToks. I found him on Instagram, and he and his friend have a podcast, and they talk about all kinds of things. I really enjoy their podcasts. What other podcasts do I love? Oh, True Blood. I'm a huge fan of that show. You can now watch all the episodes on HBO Max. I just found the whole concept that Alan Ball took the books and made the TV series. I thought the writing was so good. In the first couple of seasons, it got really wacky at the end. But I enjoy the actors, and I enjoy watching it over again and kind of just like dissecting the scenes. And I love looking at close-ups. I love looking at how they shoot things. And then hearing this podcast, it's really interesting. The two actors, one played Jessica, one played Pam. They go back over the series. So those are my podcast recommendations. If you are looking for a community of like-minded performers, come and join Club Showgirl, my monthly membership. You get weekly Zoom calls, small groups of people where we define our goals, we make plans, and we are accountable for following through. We network together and reach out to people in the entertainment industry. We search for jobs together. We audition. We give each other feedback. I will coach you and I will work with you one-on-one. There's also online dance classes. If you're interested in joining Club Showgirl, a monthly membership, it's very affordable. Go to www.michellebruckner.com. Join my mailing list and you will get all the information that you need. We start in January 2023. So come on board. Today, I'm going through the calendar for 2023. I'm scheduling all my Zoom calls. I'm scheduling vacation time because if you don't schedule time off, I don't know about you, but I will just work and work and work and work. So I have plans for the Camino in 2023. I'm hoping to make that happen. I'm hoping to return to Lisbon, Portugal. What a joy that was last year. This year, the high point. It was a really high point in my life. I got to see my good friend Joachim, who's currently Zazu in The Lion King, celebrating his 20th year in that role. Amazing. I get to talk with my friends from Europe and see how they're doing. Hopefully everyone is doing so great and working hard. It's been a challenging time. 2022 for me has brought so many changes to my life. My head is spinning a little bit. In 2020, the world stopped and we worked from home. And 2 years later, the reverberations of that finally hit me. And I hit a major wall and I kind of crashed. And I let myself have that downtime and I really let myself feel all the feelings instead of just trying to push through and work through them. And as I am finishing out this great year of change, 2022, I'm finding so much joy in the smallest of things, making the perfect cup of coffee, time with my parents. I'm very lucky. I know a lot of my friends don't have their parents anymore, and I cherish each moment with them. My child is thriving in Texas, and I cannot wait to see her over the holidays. It's going to be such a joyful reunion. It's lovely being a mom, but when your child has grown, mine is 21 now, when they're out on their own and they're an adult and are doing all of the adult things, working, finishing school. It's crazy. It's crazy because that time flew by. I remember she used to be on my back and we used to walk from the subway to my apartment in New York City. And I used to say, I got a monkey on my back and I can't shake her off. And I used to shake her and she would laugh. That seems like yesterday. And it was so many years ago. And here we are. I have so many jobs that I'm grateful for. And this time today, I'm recording this on a Monday right after I did the November Vault. I'm going to go through the calendar for 2023 and I'm going to pencil in adventures. I'm going to pencil in simple joys. Not talking about spending a large amount of money. Nope. Free things. Schedule. Walk in Central Park. Go to the Met. Go to Lincoln Center. Sit by the fountain. Eat a sandwich that you bring. Just things like that. So what can you do to give yourself some joy? What can you do for 2023? What are the big things you like? What are the big things you want to achieve? And what are the little things? The little things are the most beautiful. Next week, I'm going to talk with my good friend, Kari Lane of Carnet Creative. She was a guest in season 1. We were talking about vintage selling. So she's back. We had such a great conversation and she really is a darling friend. I hope to get to do a pop-up vintage store with her next year. And we talked about all things vintage. I really admire her because she works and she supports herself just from selling. I think that's really cool. If there's any subjects you would like me to broach in 2023 for the podcast, please let me know. DM me on Instagram at Showgirl Tip of Day. Thanks for listening. If you like this podcast, please give it a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Please tell your friends and please join me next week when I talk to Kari Lane. The Showgirl Tip of the Day podcast has original music composed by Joshua Holloway. Find him on YouTube, Joshua Holloway Music. This podcast is written by Michelle Bruckner and edited by Michelle Bruckner and Joshua Holloway. Find me on Instagram, Showgirl Tip of Day. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next week with a new episode.